Thursday in the summer with no baseball tonight. How are we all doing? Evan and Tiki on the fan. That's right. Tiki's here. He's like, I'm bored. I'm going to come in and do a show today, even though I have a scheduled off day. That's what makes him great. We did not have an off day yesterday. The Yankees just played a really long afternoon game, so we never actually had a show. And we'll get into how that game ended, what Aaron Boone did, and what this means moving forward coming up in just a few short minutes. We will complain. We will be scared about the latest with the New York Mets, who got swept by the Cleveland Guardians, and Saquon Barkley had a lot to say. So we got a lot to get to, but I got to get something off my chest, Teak.
Go ahead.
And I want to be calm when I say this. So I love fans. I'm a fan. We're all fans. And we love sports. I love sports. We love sports. And so yesterday afternoon, because the Yankees had a day game, I was lucky enough to take my 4-year-old son, Spence, and even my wife to the Mets game against the Guardians. And I
almost saw history.
Almost saw history, Teak. Absolutely. And we'll talk about the Met issues coming up, I promise. But I'm watching this near no-hitter. I'm explaining it to my son, who had zero interest in it until the 9th inning. He's 4. Mm-hmm. He was distracted by everything else. And I'm disgusted like every other Met fan. I wasn't booing, but there was a lot of booing yesterday afternoon. Fine. I'm not going to lecture people about that. But here is what really pissed me off. And it's almost been 24 hours, and I got to get over it, but I'm still angry at my fellow Met fans. That's right. I'm angry at my fellow Met fans. When Gavin Williams, the pitcher for the Guardians, gave up the home run to Soto, stayed in the game, issued a walk, got an out, and was pulled, okay? With 2 outs in the 9th inning, he got a standing ovation from Met fans.
What's wrong with that?
What's right with that,
Don't
Teak?
you get to appreciate a potential near greatness for a team that just doesn't have no-hitters? Their last no-hitter was like 25, 35 years ago.
You think that means a lot to me?
I mean, it should.
I'm a Met fan.
Actually, I think it's more. I think it's like 44 years ago.
1981 Len Barker perfect game. Yes, it was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Why do I care about that?
I don't know. You shouldn't. But when you're in the midst of like abject mediocrity, because it's not just regular mediocrity. This is like abject mediocrity.
They went 13 innings without a hit. Yes.
13 innings without a hit,
Yeah.
and this is 8 losses out of your last 9. You get swept by the Cleveland Guardians. It just feels like, we're at the low of the low. This is the nadir of this streakiness that I talked about a week ago. You win 7 in a row, then you lose 8 of 9. Like, this is the bottom. And so when you're at the bottom, where else are you going?
Cheer the opponent?
No, it's like, where are you going? You're not going farther down. You're just kind of, you know what? That kid actually is pretty good.
No.
Let's give him a little standing ovation.
No.
We appreciate it because I know, and I only know this because I'm not a Met fan, but I am in a Mets chat. Mets chat with me and Chad. Or Chad and me.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes.
So I get it.
Yeah.
I could feel the shift happening because originally it was, are you kidding me? We're going to get freaking no hit? This is horrible. To the end, it was like, I'm kind of rooting for this.
Okay, there are two things.
I kind of want to see this
Tiki?
because it will make me feel better about my pain. Like when you're in pain, it almost feels better to have more pain because it negates the pain. That's what I felt like was happening with the Mets.
You aren't wrong. So there were 2 things that happened yesterday, and there were 40,000 people there, so I am not alone in being in the building and experiencing this. There were some Met fans who wanted them to get no hit because of the rock bottom nature of what it would mean.
Yes.
Okay?
That's what I felt. I'm not a Met fan, but that's what I felt from afar.
There are people who felt that way. And in my Mets text chat that you're referring to, that you're a part of, absolutely, there are Met fans who yesterday said, you know what? F you guys. This is so bad and pathetic. I hope you get no hit. That's one group of people. Yes. The other group of people who were cheering are not those people. The people that were cheering were like, yay, I almost saw a no-hitter. Yay! Who cares if it happened at the expense of my team? I don't feel that way. Bro, I went to Chris Heston's no-hitter. What does that mean? That's when a giant pitcher pitched a no-hitter against the Mets in 2016. It was my dad's first and only no-hitter. First and only. These guys watch thousands of baseball games. He has never seen a no-hitter in person. Do you think for a second he cheered that no-name pitching a no-hitter against his team? No way. No way.
Right.
So this is nothing personal to Gavin Williams or anybody else. But if you're in that building and you're a Met fan, you're appreciating his greatness. Since when do we do that? Since when do we say, oh, you know, that Derek Jeter, he kicks the Mets' ass. Let's give him a standing ovation. What kind of losers are we
I don't think
that we're cheering the opponent?
Okay. How many people were there last night?
40,000, bro.
40,000 people. How many of them are the regular 40,000 that go to all the other important games?
I don't know.
Probably not a lot.
Okay.
I'm going to say
Big camp day.
I'm going to say exactly. I'm going to say it's half. Maybe half. Most people are on vacation. I'm supposed to be on vacation. I should be in Cape May. And guess what? My kids have cheer practice. So who gets to come back and bring the kids to cheer practice while Tracy stays down at the beach? That would be me. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to come back up and go to work. That's how it is. Some people are just there because, you know what? I can't go regularly. But now I'm going to go to a baseball game. It's a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. The Mets, there's tickets available because people aren't going. They're going to the beach. They're doing other things.
They are going. They got 40,000 people there.
How many of them are the regular 40,000?
I don't know that.
I'm trying to explain to you why the lay fan, who's not the diehard like you are, sees this. They never get a chance to really see this, and they appreciate it. That's all it is.
Okay, so I want to bring up an example. You know Mark Malusis?
Of course I do.
Love Mark Malusis. And I've told this story to Moose before, so this isn't going to, catch him from afar. But years ago, Mark did a show here on WFAN, and I was listening. And it was right after the Mets stopped Chase Utley's 35-game hit streak. He had a 35-game hit streak in 06. So keep this in mind, 2006. We are not blood rivals yet with Chase Utley. He's a young player.
Right.
So don't give me this, he mained Ruben Tejada. That would happen a decade later. And Mark Malusis was mad at Met fans for cheering the end of Chase Utley's hit streak. And I'm like, excuse me? Of course we're cheering the end of his hit streak. Screw him. He's not on the Mets. And Moose had this debate with callers all day. Great radio, by the way. That's why I commend him. He got me pissed off. Saying Met fans were not being classy. We should have cheered Chase Utley. We shouldn't have booed him. We should have appreciated his bid for greatness. The Met fan in 2006 was right. The Met fan in 2025 to cheer a guy who most of you may have heard of, but you're not that familiar with, pitching a near no-hitter against our pathetic team? No.
So what's happened? In 19 years, what's happened?
I don't know. I don't have an answer other than it bothered me.
Well, fandom has changed is what's really happened.
Is that what you think?
Of course it is.
You think we're different?
You can see it. People aren't as vicious. Philadelphia, other than, say, the crazies on Sunday afternoons for the Eagles, Philadelphia is not as crazy as it used to be.
Yeah.
Say for FOMO Cheeks, who almost tried to beat up Sean. But like most of the Philly fans, as crazy as we want to say they are, they're kind of like chill. Right? You see them every now and then, and it's kind of like, unless they're at a game and maybe a little inebriated, they're not really vicious. They're just kind of like fans. They're happy.
I don't want to be vicious, though. I don't understand why we got to give an opponent a standing ovation.
The fan is different.
I don't like it.
The fan is different.
Okay, I don't like it.
So, you know what? I'm going to guess, let's say less than a third, but probably like, I don't know, a tenth maybe. A tenth had that guy on their fantasy team.
Oh, God.
And they were like, hell yeah. I mean, I'm joking, but you never know. So I think the appreciation or the ire from the fan for like the bottom that you find yourself in is not the same that it used to be 15, 20 years ago.
But the ire was shown throughout the day when Juan Soto was booed and Francisco Lindor was booed.
Ire at the Met player.
So why are we giving love to an opponent who did it?
Because you can't just give hate and negativity to everybody.
I'm not saying
we got to appreciate the good thing that happened yesterday.
It's not a good thing.
It was a good thing for Gavin Williams.
Well, I'm not a Guardian fan. No one. Well, there were a few Guardian fans there, but most people there are not Guardian fans. I don't care about the good thing he did.
Sportsmanship, Evan.
Sportsmanship.
You ever heard of it?
Yeah, I have.
Sportsmanship.
I have.
It's one of 162. It doesn't, hopefully it doesn't matter in the bigger picture, so you appreciate it in the smaller picture. That's what this is.
I appreciate great things in baseball. I think you know that about me.
Of course I do.
And while I may appreciate greatness, one thing I will never do is stand up and show that appreciation. And I have to admit, so I was sitting in section 122, which was field level last row. It's my go-to when I don't have my tickets.
Right.
I didn't have my tickets yesterday. And so why I describe that is everyone was in front of me. I was in the last row of a section. So I got to see the rise of asses and people as Gavin was coming out of the game. And I'm so annoyed. I turn to my wife to complain about it, and what is my wife doing?
She's standing and cheering.
Yes!
Of course, because she appreciates it.
Well,
She's not the diehard. You ever watch boxing? Like, and these guys are just bludgeoning one another, just blow after blow, especially these good fights. And it's uppercut and it's body blow, and it's like, oh, man, one of these guys is going to die. And then afterwards, one of them guys wins. The other guy gives him a hug, pats him on the back. Great competition. It was awesome.
Yeah.
The thrill of the competition.
Yeah.
The battle that happened in the ring. It's the same thing. As a fan, you watch something great.
I don't see it.
Right. It's what. Look,
I'm
I know
sorry,
this is why I watch. Look, I'm not a Met fan, but this is why I like watching sports.
I respect that.
Because I want to see something great.
Totally get it.
And you usually don't.
Yes.
Most times you don't. Most times you see bad and ugly and error and everything else. But when you get that rare opportunity to see something great, even if it's not your team, and maybe this helps because I'm not a Met fan, but still, even when it's not your team, how often do you get to see almost great?
No, very rarely.
Very rarely.
I admit that.
When you see it, you appreciate it. And that's why the Met fan got up and cheered.
You can appreciate it without cheering an opponent in your own building.
But you can't show him that you appreciate it unless you do that.
Why do I have to show him anything? I don't have to show Gavin Williams anything.
You're being a meathead Met fan. That's exactly what you're doing. You're being a hater.
Guardian.
Don't hate on that Gavin Williams just because he's for the opponent.
I'm not hating on Gavin Williams. I'm hating on us as Met fans for standing up and cheering him 20 minutes after we were booing everyone on our team because we're disgusted by the offense.
Right, because you're done with your offense.
So instead, after
you were probably done with your offense a week and a half ago.
Well, look, the offense has been dreadful. It's the reason they're in the situation they're in. It's the thing that should scare you the most about this team, which we will discuss throughout the day at 888-808-1019. But what I can't do, and I think I've been very consistent about this, whether I was a teenager or I'm a grown man, is I never cheer the opponent. When Mark McGuire's hitting home runs off the scoreboard and the rest of you guys are like, yeah! I didn't cheer him. When Chase Utley struck out in the ninth inning against Pedro Feliciano and his hit streak ended, I wasn't like, oh, great job, Chase. I'm so proud of you. BS. And so, yes, I'm mad at the Mets, and we'll talk about all their issues, but I'm mad at you people. And if you were in the building yesterday and you stood up and you cheered this guy, explain yourself, because I don't like it. I know you're on my side on this one, Sean.
No, I would have cheered, even if that was happening to the Yankees. Yes, I would have.
That is such crap.
No, it's not. There's a difference here. You got to realize he did not throw the no-hitter. If the game ended with him throwing a no-hitter and every Met fan in that building or non-Met fan or Met meathead in that building rose to their feet and gave him a standing ovation for no-hitting their team, I think that is a major problem.
Well, why is it okay to cheer the effort but not cheer the completion?
Because, you know what? You breathe the sigh of relief that he didn't, in fact, totally embarrass your team. You have your problems with your team anyway. And on a Wednesday afternoon where everybody entered that ballpark to be entertained, the Mets did not entertain them. They got out of it 4-1 by the time Williams walks off. And for those 2 hours, the entertaining part of their afternoon was that this nameless, faceless pitcher from a nameless, faceless organization, it's not a Philly, not a Brave, not a Yankee, not a Dodger, twirled one of the great pitching efforts in Major League Baseball this year. And they cheered the idea that they, at least, while they can have their own team help them out, got some entertainment and satisfaction out of this guy.
You know what's interesting, Sean? I just realized it might have been relief.
Yeah, it could be too, yeah.
You're cheering relief.
I don't think you're cheering that after the actual no-hitter. You're pissed off that your team got embarrassed.
Right.
That was gone.
It was relief. It was
Yes.
like, oh, man, we're not going to be another note in Cleveland history because they haven't thrown a no-hitter since May 15th, 1981. And that was a perfect game. Lynn Barker's perfect game.
Yeah.
They haven't thrown a no-hitter since then. So you could have been like plastered in Cleveland history. And now you weren't, so you're like, whew.
And how
Good job,
poor.
Gavin. Thanks for not fully embarrassing us.
Tiki, you and I like to, indulge in the alcohol at a baseball game, unlike Evan, who scores everything.
Give me tall, boys.
A game like that yesterday, if it's 4-1 and then Soto homer came in the third inning, that is as boring a day baseball game as anybody could attend in a million years.
Great point.
They were on the edge of their seat for 8.5 innings, waiting with bated breath for a hit, and then they didn't have the relief. They cheered the entertainment factor. This guy who doesn't matter in Mets history didn't no-hit him, but you know what? He gave him a fun afternoon.
Yeah, I was miserable. I hated it. I hated every second of it. And as we were getting closer to the no-hitter, and my wife was there, like I said, and my 4-year-old was there, my wife says to me, do you want to see it? I said, oh, do I want to see it? No. And then she said, what about Spence? I said, well, what do you mean, what about Spence? He doesn't know what's going on. I'll explain it to him, and I did. But she says, don't you want to see it for him? And I said, no.
It's a bad job.
It took me until I was 30 to see a no-hitter.
Did you explain it to him as it was happening?
I was. I'll tell you his answer. My dad saw one, and he's been on the planet for over 70 years, and I didn't, and you'll appreciate this, Sean, and you, Teak. You both appreciate this. I didn't want to deal with Jet being jealous that Spence saw the no-hitter, and he didn't.
That's your best
amazing.
point.
That's amazing.
I don't want to deal with it.
Like, Dad, Spence doesn't even care.
Mets suck.
Well, I did it in the ninth inning as the inning was starting, because here's the way it works when I take my 4-year-old to a game. I get through the first few innings. He's interested.
Yep.
Then I go to Kiddie Field. Then I get the ice cream. By about the 7th inning, I go to the closer. The closer is the tablet. And I admit, it's a cheat code, and I don't like to use it unless I have to. So 7th inning, here comes the closer.
I hope the tablet's not Gavin Williams quality.
So he's on the tablet. I take the headphones off, shut the tablet. I say, Spence, I got to explain something. He's like, what? I said, here's the deal. You're 3 outs away from seeing baseball history. The Mets being no hit. You could have that, or the Mets could get a hit. We're probably still going to lose, but what would you rather see happen? And he looks at me and says, I want the Mets to get a hit. And I said, that's my son! That's my son! And so when Juan Soto hit that meaningless home run, furthering his new nickname, I don't know if you guys were aware, Juan Solo. Yeah, I like that one. I didn't come up with it. It was an emailer to Rico P, but still, it's pretty good.
a good
I'm going to use it from now on.
Right. And if he turns out to be great, I'm just honoring Han Solo.
That's right. Sure,
savior.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
You don't know who Han Solo is?
I'm joking. I do.
Jeez.
He's a Star Trek character.
I was going to get up
well.
and leave.
Yeah.
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek character. But when Juan Solo hit that solo home run,
Star Wars, by the way.
sure, same thing. I was relieved, and I was excited, and so was Spence. But what I didn't do 5 minutes later is give Gavin freaking Williams a standing ovation.
Okay, so what did Spence do? Did he follow your wife, or did he follow you?
He's back on the tablet. We'll get to your calls next, 888-808-1019, including the issues facing the New York Mets. And yesterday's Yankee win was something that I thought Aaron Boone was going to seal his fate as being a former manager on. We'll get into what happened and if this leads to the Yankees now returning their season around. So there's a lot of baseball to get to, a lot of football to get to. Aaron Glenn was very clear on his plan for Saturday night. What should the Giants do? So we got a lot of football to get to as well, all live from the Town Fair Tire Studios.